Hey, welcome to the newest episode of the Articulate Ox podcast. I am your host, Soma79. Thank you so much for joining me today. My guest today is return guest 3SK. He is an amazing battle rapper from New England. I've known Kev 3SK for a very long time. He particularly specializes in pro wrestling bars, so he's a perfect guest. This is the last of a series of pro wrestling themed episodes that we'll be doing right now because it was Wrestlemania last week. So this episode was recorded about a week, maybe about 2 weeks before WrestleMania. So Kevin and I kind of give our predictions, and we're going to see how good of a job we did at getting that right. So I don't know. We'll see. It's gonna. Hopefully, it was a fun show, and hopefully, there's nothing but good things to celebrate right now about wrestling. Though I feel like I might be cursing myself by saying that because you never know. There's always good things around the corner in wrestling, and there seems to always be bad things. So it's all good. That's what makes it exciting. Kev, thank you so much. Kev and I actually been talking about doing another kind of wrestling themed project that I think will probably come together. We both seem pretty excited about it. So hopefully we'll have more to announce on that pretty soon. So if not, just pretend I never said that. But I think it'll happen. All right, Kev, thank you very much. Go check out his stuff everywhere. And why don't you check out my stuff too? Soma79. I got a Bandcamp now. You can buy some of my music. I think you probably even stream some for free. I know some of it is there for free. You can get my Doom mix there for free. You can get a bunch of other stuff. I think I have autographed CDs up there, and I think they're cheaper than the non-autographed ones. So get yourself a deal. All right, that's it. Bandcamp.soma79.com, soma79.com, all that good stuff. Check out the episode. Thank you very much, Kev. Peace. Hey, welcome to the newest episode of the Articulate Ox podcast. I am your host, Soma79. We have a return guest today, Stone Cold Steve Boston, 3SK. How you doing, man?
What up? I'm great, man. Great to see you. Always the most pleasure to talk to you, man.
Yeah, man, it's always a pleasure as well. So we were out doing last year. For those who don't know, 3SK, Cav, one of the best battle rappers we got out of the New England area. Totally tearing down motherfuckers. You find the videos all over YouTube. He has a certain penchant for dropping wrestling bars, especially 80s and 90s wrestling references. Yeah, thought he'd be a perfect person to have on for WrestleMania season. We are right now 2 weeks before WrestleMania, a week and a half. So this is coming out after WrestleMania. So we're going to talk about our predictions for WrestleMania. By the time you see this, we will see how right we were or were not. So, Cav, what is up today? Now that you've heard me ramble.
Yeah, not much, man. Same shit, different days. Fucking living the dream. Fucking trying to stay healthy, trying to stay happy. Fucking work. Real quick, I actually just remember. I want to give a quick shout out to my boy Corey Taylor. He got one of my past master Kevin Sullivan shirts signed by Kevin Sullivan recently.
Nice.
You got it signed from Kevin Sullivan to Kevin Sullivan. I was fucking pumped. I've been meaning to take a picture and put it online. I'm gonna get a frame and shit and hang up.
That's fucking amazing.
Corey, dude, he's the fucking man for that. I was fucking pumped.
Yeah, where did he see Kevin Sullivan?
So we did a convention down in Providence a couple weeks ago. Cool. It was like him, a handful of other wrestlers. I can't think of who off the top of my head right now, but yeah, he's doing like a whole fucking Comic-Con type circuit shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I've never been to those wrestling conventions. I've been to a bunch of Comic-Cons and stuff like that, but like it's like I did kind of go to one. I went to a Dan House signing once, which was pretty
really.
Yeah, actually, I have the signed picture behind me. I had the artist Dreaded Dinosaur. Shout out to Dreaded Dinosaur who did it. Yeah, he's an amazing artist. He showed it on the episode. He has a really kind of serious hand condition, and if you saw his hands, you wouldn't believe he could draw anywhere near the way he does, and it's a really remarkable story. So everybody should.
Yeah, it's sick.
Yeah.
I went to like one of the Comic-Con things many years ago to go meet Adam West, and Mick Foley was there. Of all fucking people,
I've always wanted to meet Mick.
Dude, he was the fucking. So I got there. Me and Nick was there.
Sweet. Pascarosa. Yeah.
To do like the actual signing, like his like autograph signing was over, but we like saw him like walking like past. And I was like, oh shit. He like shook my hand and said hi. And I was like, yeah, good. He was like, oh, sorry, kid. Like I'm leaving, but was the nicest guy still. It was still.
Yeah.
So nice. You know what I mean?
Yeah. He's my dream guest. I thought about potentially trying to make overtures to him because I kind of had sort of an in, And I don't know, maybe at some point down the road. I actually
That would
heard,
be
you know
great.
what? He's taking time off from podcasting here because he's doing. I listened to his podcast, and on his last episode, he said he's taking time off from doing any podcast for a while, and I guess he's doing one more death match, is what it
That's
is.
what I was just gonna say. Is I read the other day that he wants to do one. Dude, that guy's literally gonna die in a death match.
I
But
know he must have just for the thing of Sting must have just got him excited, and maybe the
yeah,
excitement over Ric Flair's last match or something, and there's probably
yeah,
a big payday in it for him, but. I don't want to see like did you watch the Sting's last match?
I haven't. No, I didn't watch it. I haven't really been following AEW that much. I wanted to watch it just because it was Sting, but I
That
haven't
was the
actually.
only reason I watched it because I hadn't watched AEW since months ago when Hangman Page drank Swerve Swift's blood and I felt fucking nauseous and I was like, I'm done with you fuckers. And I gave him one more chance with Sting's last match and Darby Allin's a fucking idiot.
Yeah, I don't like Darby Allin, like his like whole like shtick. Like he's just a stunt man. Like so years ago, I saw Darby Allin on like a documentary about. It was like a Vice documentary. I can't think of the name of it. It was every episode was like different things about wrestling,
Well, I gotta
and they
find that.
showed him like back when he was in Indies, and I was like, all right, this kid's like a fucking Sabu type kid.
Yeah.
And like then when he came to AEW, I realized like, oh, this guy can't wrestle.
Yeah. He can just risk his life.
Yeah, like he jumped through that fucking glass recently. I saw that clip on Instagram.
That's the
Dude,
one
the girl
that
in the front row just got glass like all over her
that was
face.
Sting's last match. That was so
That well,
stupid.
that was
And
the last match. Was that match?
yeah,
Okay.
it was like so there was so much stupid about that. The way it was filmed, like besides the ridiculous risk, like it totally unnecessary. Glass hitting people in the crowd. It wasn't sugar glass. It was like some sort of like the it was like I forget the type it's called, but like it's not good. Like he was
Yeah.
all cut up. Like I believe the referee had to help hold the ladder. He landed nowhere near where the young buck was he was trying to hit.
No, not anywhere. Never. They always move out of the way before they fucking get there.
And it was like it was just all he was doing is because he wanted to do it. It was, I don't know. And then
Yeah.
whatever. I
Well,
that shit turns me off so much.
yeah, I mean, I enjoy like that like wild style of wrestling, the ECW style, but AEW just seems so like fucking. I don't want to call it unprofessional, but like just like dude, like
Right.
what the
I
is going
mean,
on
the whole company could have gone out of business if that spot went even slightly different.
there?
You
Yeah, dude,
know?
his back like instantly started fucking bleeding all over the place.
Yeah.
Like,
And he wasn't
yeah,
even out for the whole match. He still came back in the match.
did he? Yeah, of course. Dude.
It's like what that's what drives me nuts about AEW is it's so stupid. And the
Yeah,
funny thing too is, so they announced that night that Sting's last match that they were going to do Will Ospreay versus Kyle Fletcher, and I was a big Kyle Fletcher fan before I stopped watching AEW. So I'm like, oh, I really want to see that. Then I saw Darby spot, and I'm like, yeah, no way, I'm not watching it. And they literally talked me out of watching something I was excited about when they just lost me for 6 months, and I was like, way to go,
yeah.
way to go.
Yeah, I remember following it, like when AEW first started. I was trying to get back into wrestling around that time, so I was like, I checked it out. I went to one of their matches they did, one of the events they did in Worcester. It must have been in 2022. It was cool live, but yeah,
So I like the way you talk about it, almost like it's like, I went to like a church service once. It was like okay, but it wasn't for me. It's sort of like it was sort of an off day. You don't really know how you end up there. You're like, I guess, something weird happened. I don't know.
ended up in an
Yeah,
AEW show in Worcester on a Wednesday night.
yeah,
Yeah, it was basically how it happened. So my buddy we call Pharaoh, he's a better friend of mine. Shout out to him. For years, we're always like, dude, we should go to a wrestling event. We should go to a wrestling event. He's a big old school wrestling head. Obviously, the wrestling bars, we started talking about it.
yeah.
And I was out of work. I had fractured my foot, so I was out of work, and I was going stir crazy. I was able to walk again, but I couldn't go back to work yet. And I saw a flyer for dude. It was actually like a week after we did the last podcast. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
It was like right after that. Because like remember we were talking about like, oh, we should go to an AEW event. Like
Oh
obviously
yeah, yeah.
the fucking Instagram fucking microphone heard us.
Yeah,
So I
sure.
instantly got an ad for it and fucking me and the kid everyone. We really had a lot of fun. Me and that same kid actually went to Survivor Series at the Garden last November. Or not the
Yeah.
past one before, the same year, 2022, which was way better of a show. Everything about it was way better. You know what I mean? But
AEW too, the live experience is what I hear is they're definitely playing to the live crowd, and the live crowd's always really into it. So I think seeing them is, I mean, even as not a fan, I'd probably still go if it was close enough to my house. But
yeah,
I
dude,
still don't want to
like
see
I said,
someone die. Like I feel like someone's gonna
yeah.
die in an AEW ring, and I don't really want to be there for it.
Yeah, I gotta like like dude, we sat like third row for like $50. It was fucking I had a blast. It's the first
Yeah.
wrestling event I went to in fucking 20 years.
Yeah.
So like it served its purpose. I just I would
I haven't
go
been to a
again.
wrestling event either in a long time. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
So with WrestleMania coming up, you talked a little before, you've been watching a little bit. This is the first time that I've been watching every Raw and SmackDown pretty much as they air. Like that hasn't
Yeah,
happened in over a decade, probably.
yeah,
It's
dude.
all great. And I'm watching and I bought the WWE video game because I'm like, I need more content. And I've been watching I've been getting more into it because WWE is so good right now. So when did you kind of
Yeah.
jump back on?
So, like I said, so I got really hooked into watching like wrestling documentaries in 2020 because I was home, and that
So
kind of
many
made
good
me
ones.
dude. I'm a sucker for a good documentary. I watch
Yeah,
music documentaries, sports
me
documentaries,
too. Yeah.
planet Earth
There's
type
this
shit.
guy there's a thing about wrestling bios on YouTube where this guy just does I've been
Dude,
watching
I
those
fucking
nonstop.
love that shit.
Yeah.
He does the week to week breakdown of
Yeah.
every time Raw went against Nitro, the
And
Monday Night War. Dude,
he has
that
this
came out.
dry sense of humor. Every once in a while he says something super funny and I'm like, "Oh man."
Dude, I started watching those. You started doing those right around that COVID
Yeah.
era. And dude, I must have watched like 60 of those one day.
I must have watched 60 in the past week.
Dude,
It's
it
what
was
I was
crazy.
watching the whole time I was editing the music video I was telling you about. So, but yeah,
Yeah.
you're saying, so you got back
Um,
into it.
yeah, so I would watch periodically, and my wife would give me shit for trying to watch it all the time. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
And then this past Royal Rumble, I always loved the Royal Rumble. Love the idea of
Yeah.
it. It's a fucking great thing. And now, like, I have Peacock, so you get all the pay per views for free. So we were
Yeah.
like sitting in bed. I'm like, yo, like, let's put on the Royal Rumble. My wife said, you're a fucking loser. 20 minutes into it, she's like, let's fucking go.
Which
So then,
which
like,
Rumble was this?
it was the Rumble that just happened.
Oh, the one that happened this year?
Yeah, the one that happened this
Oh,
year
with
was really.
Punk and Cody. Yeah, that was
Yeah.
great.
So for the last like, year and a half, I watched periodically and check
Yeah.
out a couple of pay-per-views and whatnot. So then we watched. I got her to watch that with me. She fucking loved it. Literally, she's like, "Why doesn't The Rock wrestle anymore? Like, when's the?" And I'm like, "The Rock is a fucking movie star. The Rock
Right.
isn't fucking coming to wrestling."
Then like two
So
seconds
literally,
later, if you smell.
I'm not even joking with you. So we put on SmackDown. It's literally the next SmackDown, and we're watching it. It's Friday night. We went out to dinner, and I'm like, "Who's put on SmackDown?"
Yeah.
And she's like, "I'm only gonna watch it if The Rock comes out." I'm like, "The Rock's not fucking coming out. The Rock fucking comes out."
Yeah.
That was it. We've watched every fucking one since. That's
Yeah.
like.
He's doing big numbers. I mean, he's the best, and he was so smart. Remember how pissed we all were? I don't even know if you were part of this when they were jipping Cody. I guess I didn't use that word, but when they were kicking Cody Rhodes out of the title picture, and everyone's
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
WrestleMania is gonna suck, and then all of a sudden they're like, nope, we got to fix that.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, dude, I was down for the Rock versus Roman Reigns at WrestleMania. Obviously, they did fuck Cody over for that
Yeah,
shit,
yeah.
but
I'm happy with
they
what we got. You know what?
yeah,
I'm a little worried about last time Rock wrestled a singles match or any match. Like he had that really bad injury with Cena, and it's been 10 years. So it's like
yeah.
I don't know the idea of hinging your main event on the Rock, not
On
having
a
that happen again is,
on a fucking 60-year-old man. You know what I
right,
mean? Like
right. Wrestling
close
against
to
somebody
that
who I
age.
love, Roman Reigns, but he doesn't wrestle that often. It's
No,
like he kind of he sort of benefits from working with a good worker.
yeah, 100%. Yeah, I don't think Roman can carry him for. I mean, dude, literally, as like I said, I've been following off and on for like 2 years. I've been following a lot for the last couple of months. I've seen Roman Reigns wrestle like twice this entire fucking
I
time.
know. It's
I
like
just
Hulk
have to
Hogan when
go
we were a
like
kid.
once every fucking month and say, "What's up? See you guys
Yeah,
later." I get my check and I'm gonna go.
I know. I don't know. So, all right, let's talk about predictions here, though. Who you think? You think who's walking out with a big belt at WrestleMania? I think Cody is going to win. I think if they don't have
Yeah.
put Cody over now, it's a big mistake.
Yeah, I think they have to now. I think especially after the whole like fucking we want Cody shit and the thing with the Rock. Like if they don't do it now, they're kind of dicks for it. I mean, one second, one second.
All right, cool.
And, dogs rushing through. Yeah, I think they realize that they kind of pin themselves in a corner. They have to. Like if they don't do it now, he's never gonna get it, and that's just they kind of fucked him. You know what I mean?
Yep.
But yeah.
And they also have a storyline to continue with Roman too, where he still can go on. Because The Rock last week was really in Memphis, was really turning face a little bit,
Yeah,
and he can only stay heel for so long now that people
yeah,
appreciate him again. So he's gonna
yeah.
have
I
to
mean, I
get
think
it.
he'll fuck over Roman Reigns in the tag match, which will make it no bloodline people, and that's how Cody will win the first time ever in the last
Yeah.
6 years that no one's interfered in a Roman Reigns match. I thought Cody will win because of that. That's setting up SummerSlam. The Rock versus Roman Reigns then or something like that.
Right.
You know what I mean?
See, I can see that. I can also see the exact opposite happen where they have super bloodline rules, and that goes both ways. And then we get Stone Cold Steve Austin by ringside, and then we get all these other people. And that's like I feel like we're gonna see Austin and
You
Cena.
think so?
I think we're gonna see Austin and Cena at WrestleMania. It's WrestleMania 40. I think they're gonna go all out. I think, especially with everything the company's been through this year, all the good soldiers who want to help the company are going to show up, I think.
Yeah, that's true. They could use as much good publicity as possible.
Yeah, no
But,
shit.
dude, if that glass breaks and you hear the Stone Cold song, I'm going to wild the fuck out. I'm going to throw things.
Well, it's funny. So the last time I think the first time, 15 years ago was WrestleMania 15. WrestleMania 15 was in Philly. That was 25 years ago, and that was headlined by Rock in Austin. So like
Wow.
to have Austin come out and just stunner him would just and just like walk out would be great.
Yeah, and The Rock over exaggerated stunner drop.
Yeah.
Like,
Oh yeah. No one sells like The Rock when it comes to a stunner.
dude, that would be amazing.
Yeah. So I don't know. That's what I think is more is going to happen. Is I think we're going to get. I think they're going to turn it into. I think to play up the anything can go's atmosphere, they're going to go with bloodline rules just to keep people guessing as to how things are going to end because it opens up more possibilities. And I think they really, as much as I believe Cody's going to win during that match, I think everybody for a moment's going to believe he's not. You know.
Yeah, I'm still convinced The Rock will cost him the championship in some way. Rock's going to turn on Roman Reigns and set up that match. The Rock clearly wants to do that match. He came back specifically to do it, and there's no way they're not going to make that part of the story. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah. And The Rock is also taking some time off to do a movie right after this. It's and so I think what they're probably going to do is somehow set up his exit to be to come back as a full-on babyface. Like so what the thing that I was always thinking they should do is that first you take the belt away from Roman, you know, and then Cody kept saying, I want to take everything from you. And I think next he's going to lose the respect of his family. I think he's going to, in his match with The Rock, he's going to somehow lose the respect of his family. So he's going to lose the belt and his family.
Yeah, The Rock's going to take the whole bloodline and leave.
Yeah. Or that Roman just turns on him so viciously that his family can't see him the same way anymore. That's what I kept thinking might happen. It would explain why Rock would be gone for a while. But I don't know. There's so many different ways they can go. It's crazy.
Yeah, I don't know. It's definitely. I mean, it's great to see The Rock back. It's just hilarious. The Rock is hilarious to me. He'll always be funny.
Yeah,
like The Rock. You know what I mean? So
he's
I'm here
amazing.
for it.
Yeah,
I'm here for it.
I know, and it's like it's. I mean, because the Vince stuff too. I was pretty like, oh my god, that really. I'm a little worried that there's gonna be some other big story that breaks the week of WrestleMania because that last one broke right between the Rumble and the Netflix story. Netflix, right between the Netflix and the Rumble.
Netflix deal, yeah.
Yeah, and so I feel like if there's another story, Mania is a great time for somebody to get attention.
Yeah, I know. We were talking about that Netflix deal the other day to go a little bit off topic because the Jake Paul and Mike Tyson fight is happening live on Netflix, and to my knowledge, that's Netflix's first attempt at a live event.
They did like live. I think they did a live like stand-up thing. I think either Chris Rock or Dave Chappelle, but maybe they only debuted that live. That might have not actually been taped live.
Yeah, I don't think it was like live as far as
right.
like.
Yeah. I think you're right. Yeah.
Yeah, to my knowledge, I mean, I could be wrong.
No, but I think you are. I think you are right now. That I think they just had a premiere live, but it wasn't actually
like a live sporting event.
Like a live stream.
Than an edited shot product. You know what I mean? So I always want to watch that fight to see how it goes. I wonder if that's like a test to do Raw weekly live. You know what I mean? I don't know.
How do you feel about that match? Because I'm seeing a lot of conflicting opinions online, and I'm not a big boxing fan, so I don't.
Yeah, I mean, I love boxing. I love Mike Tyson. Mike Tyson's one of my favorites.
Me too. I do love Tyson. Yeah.
His life story and everything is like so inspiring to me. Like, you know, it's from the highest highs to the fucking absolute lowest. Like, I always say, like, you know, when we were younger, we used to get high and watch like Mike Tyson clips, and he would just say the most wild and crazy shit in the world and laugh. And now I listen to Mike Tyson quotes, and it's like the most like inspirational, like philosophical knowledge, and it's just that full circle of that man's life is amazing to me, and in my opinion, he's the greatest boxer ever. That being said, the man is fucking 60. He's 57 years old, if I'm not mistaken, and like I don't know, like Jake Paul fights. There's always like the stories. I can't confirm, but everyone always says that the Jake Paul fights are rigged. I think a lot of them are. Someone told me like in one of the last fights there was a clause that if he got knocked out, his opponent would lose half his money or something like that. So like
Good
I don't
Lord.
know. It's an exhibition fight. It's not a real judged fight either way. So it's gonna be a clown shoe show. I don't know. I hope Mike goes out there and at least looks, somewhat like Mike Tyson. You know what I mean? I don't know. I
I
don't
don't
put too
know.
much.
I mean, are they getting paid big money for this? Because I'm
Oh, I'm sure
trying
they
to
are.
think.
I'm sure
Yeah, because I'm
Netflix is
like,
gonna
who's the
cut.
real winners here? And it's got to be Mike and Jake. And I think even
Yeah,
they're kind of friendly, aren't they?
I'm sure they are. I
Yeah,
mean, dude, these days I don't think Mike Tyson really hates anybody. He's not like
good
that
point.
killer. Like back in the day, he was a fucking killer. Like
He was one of the
dude, he
scariest. Yeah,
was the most terrifying man in the world.
yeah.
But
Him and Brock Lesnar have that on lock. Like two of the
yeah,
people. No one that big should be that fast.
yeah, dude, Mike Tyson's not even that like.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
Dude, he's short as fuck, dude. I met him once. He's only a couple inches taller than me. I'm a short fucking person. I'm pretty sure he's 5'7" or 5'8", which
Mm.
for heavyweight fighters is not that big. Like a
Yeah.
lot of those guys are 6'2", 6'3". Like you
I'm
watch like
basing I'm basing his heights entirely on comparing him to My Little Fighter and Mike Tyson's Punch Out.
do you see the memes of everyone's like, post that? Because the guy who Mike Tyson punch out kind of had the
I
same
know.
haircut as shit as Jake
Yeah,
Paul.
I know. Well, so
Yeah.
like, what do you think? So the only thing over, I don't follow boxing or MMA or anything, but so the only reason I even really know who Jake Paul is that is because of Logan Paul, who, and I only know who Logan Paul is because of WWE. So I didn't have it baked in that I was supposed to hate him. Like, I guess that's a message the rest of the world's been screaming for years, unless you're
Yeah.
a young
So,
kid.
so again,
I think he's
so
great.
I'm in the same boat as you. I never knew who either of these people were until Jake Paul boxed Nate Robinson, who's used to play for the Celtics.
Oh
He's
yeah,
like
yeah.
5 foot fucking nothing.
Yep.
And
Yep.
he got knocked out. And I had never heard this kid's name. Apparently, he was on like the Disney Channel and shit. I was in my fucking late 20s when he was on the Disney
I didn't even
Channel.
know he was on the Disney Channel. I
You know
thought
what
they
I
were
mean?
just YouTubers.
Nah, yeah, apparently, I mean, I could be wrong, but that's what someone
Yeah.
said. I saw a video of him with the
It's better
Disney
that we
logo.
don't know.
Yeah, exactly. Like, dude, I'm fucking almost 40. I know
Yeah.
you are 40. You know
Yeah,
what I
I'll be
mean? So,
45 next month.
yeah, dude, we were full grown adults, but apparently that's where all the hatred comes from is that he's a child
Okay.
actor turned YouTube prankster and all that shit. But I never heard his name until he boxed Nate Robinson. And then the other one, Logan, boxed Floyd Mayweather right after. And even Floyd Mayweather thought he was boxing the kid who knocked out Nate Robinson. He didn't know there were two people. He signed the contract and was like, "Oh, there are two of them." and then
That's like some
literally,
art
I
truth
didn't know
stuff.
that until then either. And then, so I don't have any preconceived notion of these kids. The
Right.
Jake Paul kid isn't a terrible boxer. He's like he fights old retired MMA fighters, but he's a big jacked fucking kid, clearly roided out, and is a legit amateur boxer for what he is. You know what I mean? Is
Yeah.
people, half the world acts like he's the greatest boxer ever, and half the world acts like he can't box at all. Depending on whether you love or hate the guy. As a
Right.
non-biased person, I can tell you he's not that bad of a boxer. He's nowhere near like Mike Tyson level and Mike Tyson in his prime. You know what I mean? But
Right. But who that's
and
that's
then
kind of
Logan,
why I brought it up because I saw the people just love fighting right now. I'm like people are in a very feisty election year. I'm like this is like a level of anger on this boxing match that I'm not used to seeing applied to this to like
yeah,
shit like this. People were like so just bloodthirsty and like on both
yeah,
ways. Like people thinking that both of them gonna get murdered. I'm like they're gonna fucking like go out there and like touch gloves and then go smoke a joint after is what's
yeah.
probably gonna
Like I
happen.
don't think. I mean, unless you piss Mike off, because Mike is still Mike, and I feel like
Right.
they signed it to be like a friendly Mike. But you punch Mike in the face, he might forget that he's 60 years old and might just fucking. They say like when you're a boxer, like your speed goes, your coordination goes, but your power is the last thing to go. And
Yeah.
even if Mike Tyson lost some power, he's got a lot left over to still knock someone fucking out.
Yeah. But
So
the thing
I
is,
mean,
like, when you're like that age, you shouldn't be getting punched in the head. Because it's like,
no,
I wouldn't
dude,
want Jake Paul to punch me in the fucking head now,
no,
20
dude,
years
he's
ago,
like,
ever. Like,
yeah,
we
dude,
pretend like, and it's like sometimes people talk about like these fighters that are just maybe not like the ultimate elite. They talk about them like they're just some fucking nobody. I'm like, these people are killing machines, even if
yeah,
they're not like Ken Shamrock on his best day. It's like they're
yeah.
still
That's what I'm
fucking.
saying. Like
I'm
Jake
not
Paul is,
breaking into Jake Paul's house.
yeah, like Jake Paul is not an elite boxer by any stretch of
Right.
the imagination. He's not
But a
championship
little bit
caliber.
of training goes a long way against
Yeah,
most
but he is
people.
a big fucking boy who knows how to throw a fucking proper punch.
Yeah.
Like if a normal any fucking run of the mill human being just stand still and lets Jake Paul fucking wind up and punch him, he's dropping you. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, he might not have the proper head movement, he doesn't have the proper footwork yet. He's getting better every fight, but like he's still a fucking big boy.
Yeah, I know. I mean, it's really the debate of what's more important is the fact that the person he's fighting is a near senior citizen or that person is Mike Tyson. It's like we don't know. We don't know which of that is more important.
Dude, I do love like he plays the heel. Like he knows how to make his money. He knows people hate him. So he picks these fights that are gonna get big publicity, low risk, high reward type fights. Like he made his name fighting retired MMA fighters. And like he fought Diaz, who's not like, very old. He fought Anderson Silva, who's like fucking gotta be 50 by now. Yeah. He fought fucking a handful of other guys that are just old. And so I love that, like, the biggest criticism he got is, oh, he fights guys too old. He fights guys smaller than him. So he goes and books a fight with Mike Tyson, who's fucking 60. But he does it just to piss people off. Like, he knows people are going to get mad at it, and he knows people are going to tune in. You know what I mean? So he knows it. He knows what he's doing. He's not an idiot.
No, he is not. And his brother certainly, or it's his brother, Logan, right?
Yeah.
He's certainly. No one's ever taken a wrestling as fast as that. I mean, Kurt Angle's the closest I could possibly compare it to. He's fantastic. Dude, he has his personality. He's taken his personality better. That's better than Kurt was.
Well, because he's been a personality. Like, dude, I think his podcast. He's entertaining in that. Yeah. He is a character. Yep. So he didn't have to come with a gimmick. He just played himself, which was already fucking hated. Because for whatever reason, people just fucking hate these two dudes. I know. Like, I don't really know why. Because again, I'm not in that age bracket where those people matter to me. It just sound like a dick, but I think he's fucking great at wrestling, dude. And fucking that shit he did the Royal Rumble. I don't think it was not this year, the year
with him and Ricochet.
Yeah, fucking dude, that shit was sick. Dude,
he's born for pro wrestling. That's the thing is like to be someone who's like sort of a dick. It's like Randy Orton was sort of a dick back in the day, and like
wrestlers are sort of dick. Right. I love wrestling documentaries. I learned that all wrestlers are fucking dicks.
Yeah, they're all carnies and
all terrible people.
I know. It's we're learning that hand over fist these days.
Dude, fucking Vince McMahon is the prime example.
Goof. In the rush to get Brock Lesnar out of the video game.
That's what I heard. Yeah, I heard they put him back on the website and shit. Though I never read any of those text messages and shit. I don't know.
Oh, I read the whole thing. It's absolutely.
I don't need that in my search history. So.
Yeah, shit. But
I heard some fucked up shit. You know what I mean? So.
Yeah. It's I'm not gonna comment on that. Any pending litigation that may get myself in trouble, but fucking Vince, you're a fucking idiot.
Well.
Yeah. So what are you most excited about this WrestleMania week? There's so many good matches on the card. So many, now it's really shaping up where we're finding out where almost everybody is. What are you looking forward to?
Obviously The Rock. I mean, The Rock, the tag match, Rock and Roman versus fucking Seth and Cody. I'm a fan of all that. I like Seth Rollins a lot. I think he's fucking hilarious.
His promo has been awesome lately.
Dude,
he's doing double duty. He's both doing the Drew McIntyre and the main one. He's kicking ass on both. Yeah,
well, that's like I was talking about that with like Cody's still doing like side quests during all this.
Yeah.
Not so much the last couple weeks, but he's like beefing with other people in between all this. Like Cody has this thing where like he has to wrestle every single time a wrestling ring is set up anywhere in America.
Yeah, him and Becky Lynch are both like fighting over who gets in there first.
Yeah, like she's got fucking a different beef going on and shit. It's weird. But yeah, I look forward to that. Obviously, anything The Rock coming back is the biggest thing in sports entertainment and wrestling right now. So you got to be excited for that and see how that goes.
Very much so. Yeah.
The Roman Reigns. I'm invested in the Cody Rhodes story. You know what I mean? So they've turned him into. Like, there's always that thing of like, oh, who's the next superstar? You know what I mean? Like, who's the next Cena? Who's the next so and so? It's clearly Cody Rhodes.
Yeah, it's Cody Rhodes. He's been excited.
I noticed it because again, I follow and then I stop and then I kind of come and go. And I knew who he was through AEW and being Dusty Rhodes' kid. I'm familiar with who he was. And I was talking to like a year or so ago. I was talking to my buddy James. Whose son is I want to say 7 or 8 now. And a huge wrestling fan. And then I was asking him, I'm like, oh, who's your favorite wrestler? He's like, Cody Rhodes.
Yeah, he's got the kids.
You couldn't wait to go show me his action figure and all this stuff. And I was like, oh, he is that dude to little kids now. He is the larger than life.
And he was being booed out of the arena in AEW like a year before. It's
Yeah.
wild. I mean, the AEW fans totally turned on him, and he just walked right into WWE as confident as he could be, and he just took it. You know,
Yeah. Yeah. I think, dude, I mean, I think he's great in the ring.
he's amazing.
The,
Yeah,
the promo is a lost art, in my opinion, these days. Like, the more I've been watching lately, so many of these wrestlers can't cut a good promo.
right.
Like,
Tried to watch NXT last night, and I was like, these promos are garbage.
I haven't really gotten into that yet. I've
Don't
watched some of
bother.
it.
I mean, some of
Um,
it's Shawn Michaels booking, so that always means something fun could happen at any moment. Because if
yeah.
Shawn's involved, that's always makes enough. But like, yeah, a lot of it's watch it with the fast forward button.
Yeah. What about speed of NXT? What do you think of Steiner's kid?
He's won me over. So I never really saw I never watched WCW back in the day, so I don't really have a big affinity for the Steiners. But
No,
like I do, I mean Big Papa
they
Pump.
talking punk.
I
You
mean,
didn't watch you didn't watch WCW at all?
I didn't have cable back then, so I didn't have it. I didn't start watching wrestling until like 2000 when I was a senior in college and my roommate got like
Oh
a black
shit.
box. And I watched it as a kid. I watched it up until I watched like Superstars and like Saturday Night Main Event and stuff like that. Then I didn't watch it for most of the 90s.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's but I do remember Steiner and TNA, and that was pretty. I remember I was listening to this interview once with Mike Johnson, PW Insider. He was interviewing Bubba Ray Dudley in the Impact Zone before a show, and like they're just people are mulling around in the background, and Bubba Ray goes, "Look at Steiner, Jesus Christ! No wonder the gas prices are so high."
Yeah,
But
dude,
yeah,
fucking.
I like Braun. I thought we are gonna get him versus Gunther at WrestleMania. And I
Oh
thought maybe
yeah.
he'd be the one. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, they're giving him the fucking Goldberg fucking treatment. They had him come out, beat a guy in like 3 seconds, which
Yeah.
was it looks terrible, but I mean, like they're clearly gonna make that a thing for him. Like he was in the Rumble this year and fucking killed it. Did fucking
Yeah.
awesome. Eliminated a shitload of fucking people. I don't remember the exact number. It was a lot.
Well, you know who that was supposed to be?
It was supposed to be Brock.
Yeah, and that
Yeah.
was supposed to set up Dominic
So
versus
I heard
Brock.
I heard two stories that was supposed to be Brock spot, and I heard that Pat McAfee
McAfee. Yeah. That was
McAfee
supposed
was
to, yeah, I heard that
that
too.
was supposed to be Brock's number. Like you know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like that was supposed to be Brock coming in. So I've heard both of those, but
Yeah, those are both true. But he was supposed to fight Dominic at Elimination Chamber. We were supposed to get Brock versus Dominic at Elimination Chamber,
really,
which would have been. I mean, I'm all on board with Dominic. I love the
yeah.
Judgment Day,
Dude,
and I'm
talk
like,
about a fucking 360 of a career right there for
I
him,
know.
dude.
You see the
Sometimes
footage
going
of his wedding when he got booed at his own wedding?
yes, dude, dude, that is the greatest thing I've ever seen.
I was so happy. That made me so happy.
Dude, that is
Still
dude,
real to me, damn it.
dude, talk about like, dude, some like it kind of reminds me of like The Rock, like trying to be a baby face, and the crowd just wasn't fucking having it, dude.
Yeah.
They were like, we don't like you, and having the wherewithal to be like, oh, you don't like me, I'm gonna make you hate me. You know what I mean? Like he saved his career by
Oh
turning
yeah. And
turning.
especially because I was watching some of the wrestling bios right before we were at on here, and I kept if we got on, I kept seeing footage of fucking David Flair. And I'm like, Jesus Christ, this guy should have never been in a wrestling ring. And it's like,
Yeah,
and having a famous great wrestler father it's not a nepo baby situation. You still got to be in there because other people
yeah,
wrestle.
yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
Yeah, I never saw him wrestle or anything. Like, that was an era I wasn't really familiar with,
Oof.
but
I mean, I'm sure they weren't showing the highlights, but I saw some pretty. He just looked like he was like wandering around, like didn't know what he was doing. Like, but I think that was just WCW. So the clip I saw, it was like I think it might have been one of those 3 ring like 90 or 60 wrestler battle royals, and the
yeah,
ring was like Sean Stasiak, maybe Chuck Palumbo, Kevin Nash, and David Flair. David Flair gets in and just sort of looks around. He's wearing like a lab coat and just wanders off into the corner of the ring. Then like Stasiak or I throws out Palumbo or whatever, and then Stasiak just runs across the ring and throws himself out and just dives over the top rope and leaves. I
that's
was like, what
awesome.
the fuck did I just watch?
That is awesome.
It was like wrestle crap at its finest.
Yeah. Well, WCW had a lot of that. You
Oof,
know?
I know. And then because now I'm watching it through all these like wrestling bios things, and I'm like, this really was on television. Like I got my eyes on Judy Bagwell on a pole for the first time today. I'd always heard about it, but I'd never actually seen clips when they put Buff Bagwell's mother on like The Thing.
I don't think I ever saw
Oh my
that.
God, they did a thing where like it was called because Vince Russo would book all those like pole matches where it's like so and so or
Yeah,
something
yeah,
on a pole.
yeah,
They
yeah.
did Buff Bagwell's mother, Judy Bagwell. She's on actually a forklift, but they called it on a pole match, and he wrestled. I forget who. It's
Not his brother.
who knows.
Is that would have made more sense? What
Yeah,
about
that's true.
Dominic? Can we talk about how great of a booking the ladder match for Dominic's custody was?
I know.
So I only had knowledge of this because of memes. Like,
I remember that being on and going, I can't
yeah, 'cause
believe they're
that
putting
happened
this on
like what,
television.
03, 04, give or
It's funny,
take.
like I remember watching this going, nothing good can come of this, and here I am 20 years later eating my words.
It's the epitome of like wrestling, like obnoxiousness. But the funniest thing is like that's now part of his gimmick. Like that's part of
I
Dominic
know.
Mysterio's gimmick.
There was somebody with a sign the other night that said, I still think you're Eddie's kid or something like that.
Yeah, like dude. So I was telling, so like again, I got my wife watching wrestling again, and we think Dominic, she thinks Dominic's hilarious, and all
Yeah,
storyline,
he's one of my
shit
favorites.
is great. And I told her about that, and she was like, "Bull fucking shit." So fucking Peacock, greatest fucking streaming service I own.
Yeah,
I went and pulled up that match, and we watched it a couple nights ago. And I'll always watch any Eddie Guerrero Rey Mysterio match. Anytime you put the two of
I
them in a
know.
ring together, it's fucking pure magic.
Amazing.
Like,
Yeah.
dude, it's fucking so asinine.
It
Like
is. It's crazy.
I love Vince's like old school, like just like asshole storylines. You know what I mean?
I know.
Like who
It's
the fuck,
it is pretty wild the shit that he just let hang out there on television
dude?
from over the
That's
years.
why,
Like,
dude. That's why when people are like, "Oh, can you believe he, all
yep.
this excuse?" And I'm like, "Yes." I'm
Yeah.
like, "You gotta remember
I would if
Bob."
you told me anybody else did it, no, but
Yeah,
you
I'm
know,
like, "You gotta remember." Like, you need like what's your Trish Stratus fucking do all types of
yeah.
like weird shit. Like,
Think of it this
dude,
way, that the same story about Vince framed slightly differently goes like this is the headline. Former Trump cabinet member's husband defecates on intern's head.
I know.
And you're
I
like,
did.
I was waiting for somebody to make that headline. I'm like, it's just there.
It is. It is. It's funny because I said the same thing jokingly. I was like, "Ah, another one of Trump's buddies gets accused of fucking sex trafficking." I
I
was like, "How
know.
many more of that?"
Holy
Um,
shit.
but yeah. Anyway,
It's almost like private planes are a bad idea.
dude, you ever watch the Dark Side of the Ring, the plane ride from hell episode?
I actually watched it a couple times. I watched it again recently. Oof, man. I feel bad enjoying those shows because all of them are a little bit fake, but that one, man, Tommy Dreamer comes off like a real piece of shit.
Oh, what a fucking clown,
I
dude!
know.
Like, I lost a lot of respect for him for that. Like, dude, like the way he was just like literally like
Yeah.
fanboying out over Ric Flair.
He's
You know
like,
what I mean?
oh yeah, the boys will be boys. Everyone wants to see Ric Flair swing his dick around.
Yeah, like, and then he was like, "I don't care if you're offended." And then the day after it aired, he was like, "I'm sorry." Like, like just the complete 180. So like, what happened to that fucking "I don't
I
care if
know.
you're offended" shit? Like,
It's like they
it's
won't let me on
hilarious.
Busted Open anymore, and TNA won't let me in the booking room. So I guess
Yeah, dude,
sorry, you got raped.
I seen him wrestle right before COVID,
Oh
and
yeah,
he looked like shit. It was at a fucking bowling alley in fucking Kingston, Massachusetts.
that sounds about right. Yeah.
Yeah, it was pretty. It was pretty funny. He lost. I was like, dude, they booked him to come out and lose to like their local guy, and
Well, no
it
one.
was.
I mean, the thing is, he never wanted to go over. Like he wrestled Raven for like 3 years, and I think he won once.
Yeah, I think when the fucking when he crucified fucking Raven, right?
Yeah, yeah, and then that was the night that Kurt Angle was in the crowd and he lost his mind. He was like, because he was there evaluating ECW to be a part of it, and he's like, "What the hell is that?" And he was screaming at Paul Heyman. He's like, "I don't want any of the footage of me being here ever shown, any of that shit."
Oh shit! I never
Yeah,
heard that.
yeah, they talk about it in some WWE that means you got a couple of good documentaries you haven't seen because that
Oh
one
no,
pops
wait,
up
I
on
think I
TV.
did. Yeah, the Angle documentary that came out a few years
Oh
ago.
yeah, maybe, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I think you're right. I think I
Yeah, he
maybe did.
crucified Sandman. That's what it was. Raven crucified Sandman.
Oh, that's what it was. All right, I was thinking. I thought it was Tommy Dreamer for some reason.
No, he did plenty of other
Yeah,
devious shit, the Dreamer, but it was
yeah. Maybe you're
yeah.
right. I'm sure you are. It's been a long time since I've seen any of that shit.
Yeah,
But
it's that shit's wild. I don't think we'll be seing any of that WrestleMania weekend. I don't think
no,
we'll be seeing any crucifixions, anything.
no.
Let's hope not.
But did
Um,
you watch the Kurt Angle documentary that came out not too long ago?
if I didn't, I should.
Or have you seen any Kurt Angle documentary? Kurt Angle is a fucking uh
The
An
maniac.
American hero.
He is.
Dude, that dude is a badass in every sense of the fucking
I
word.
know. It's
Dude,
a friend of mine
fucking,
bumped into him somewhere a few years ago when he was on vacation with his kids. He was the nicest guy. He was so nice to his kids. He was just
yeah,
like super cool.
that's awesome. Yeah, dude, like the whole like the stories of like him training for the Olympics, the dude he fucking trained him got murdered or something like that. I don't
Yeah,
know.
the Foxcatcher, that movie Foxcatcher is
Yeah,
all about that. That's
dude, and then breaking his fucking neck and having to be shot up at 12 like Novocaine shots in his
I
neck before
know.
every match and shit.
You imagine wanting anything that bad? Like
Dude,
it's like when my plans get canceled, I'm so excited. I don't care what they are. I don't care if I'm going to the movies or going to the Olympics. When they get canceled, I'm
dude.
pumped.
I'm like,
And
yeah, I'm gonna go home. Dude, like, dude, that's insane. And he was talking about the documentary, like all the other fighters knew he had a fucked up neck, so they were all like
yeah,
making him grab his neck and shit, and he was just so fucking Novocaine up. He was like, let's go.
it's
And
that
dude, it
guy's
was insane.
he's a
And then when he went
lunatic.
to join wrestling, at first he told Vince that he would only do it if he would never lose. He was
Yeah,
like, "I'll only do it if no one ever." And they're like, "That's not how this works."
yeah.
But like,
And he's like, "There's no way they're gonna boo me. I'm an American hero." You're like,
yeah,
oh, Kurt.
dude, played it like a pro though. That dude is the most natural. Like you said earlier, the most
Yeah,
natural wrestler
he
ever.
is.
Yeah,
It is scary though when you see the perk angle photos now, when you're like,
oh,
oh
dude.
my God, he looks like Jason Statham like a day out of rehab or like a day before rehab. He just
Yeah,
look. I'm
like,
like, did nobody see this?
yeah. I mean, everybody saw it, dude. Everybody was just kind of like,
Yeah,
you know, like, dude, in the documentary, he talks about it. He had like 7 different doctors, and he had to keep notes of like which doctor he could go to which day. Like, you know what I mean? It's like each doctor was
that
doing like a
sounds like
month,
so much work.
so much work. But when you're a drug addict, what else are you doing? You know what I
Oh my
mean?
God.
He was talking about you had to keep notes of like which doctor you could call to get refills at which time, so we didn't like, so they wouldn't catch on, basically.
How do I sort of channel that motivation to do something without being a drug addict? Like,
Dude,
because it's
I
in me.
saw.
If I got hooked on drugs, I'd do that. So it's in me somewhere.
Dude, I've always seen memes like that. Like, dude, a drug addict wakes up every day with no money and gets high. Like, you're gonna let a crackhead out hustle you today? You know what
It's
I mean?
true.
Like,
It's
no
true,
drug
man.
addict ever is gonna like, oh, I don't have any money. Guess I'm not gonna get high today. You know
Yeah, I
what
know. It's
I mean? A
whatever.
level, there's a fucking level of inspiration in there.
Yeah, there is.
All right.
Um, So, one thing that I kind of feel like the women are getting left out a little bit this year because you would hope that with, Rhea just had an amazing moment at Elimination Chamber. So I guess she just had one of no matter what WrestleMania is going to be, it's not going to top her moment at Elimination Chamber in her home country of Australia. But I
Yeah.
think it is a little unfortunate that her and Becky aren't going to be headlining because I think it's pretty much set in stone. We're going to see the tag match, I would say, headlining night
Yeah.
one, and we're going to see Cody versus
Like,
Roman headlining night two. And you still got to make room for Drew and Seth in there, Bailey, and why do I is it Io Sky? Is that who has the women's
yeah,
belt?
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. I'm not really too familiar with her and like the Kabuki Warrior chicks.
yeah, but
Um,
it's one of the Damage Control. I'm not
Yeah, some Sky. I
yeah.
always want to say Nina Sky. Remember the two singers, Nina Sky, back in the day?
Yeah. There's been so many skies. The Sky Blue, Velvet Sky too.
Yeah.
That just
I
rhymes.
haven't yeah.
But yeah, so like, yeah, I think Rhea Ripley, she might be the best character in wrestling right now.
Oh,
She
hands
is,
down. He's like a badass, dude.
she's
She is fucking,
amazing.
dude, she is.
She
She's
China
fucking,
walked so that she could run. Is I
yes.
think what it is.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. She did like the China outfit a few months ago. And I don't know. I started a few months ago. Maybe it was before that. But yeah, and again, she was like, again, like, so when I started watching, she was already that like goth chick character. But like, I feel like a thing about how she like came out, like bleached her hair and was trying to be like, all American girl. And again, people were just like, nah, we
Yeah,
don't give a fuck. And then there's time and time to show, just dude, fucking be yourself, and it works. And dude, yeah, she's a fucking badass. And she's huge. Like, she's believable. She actually like looks the part. You know what I mean? She looks like a fucking professional wrestler.
yeah,
You know what I
she
mean?
does. She looks
Yeah.
like somebody who's going to be really hard to beat. That's sort of the unfortunate thing I think though about the women's division is that like I have a hard time looking at Becky Lynch going, okay, well, can you really win a fight? Like, and I know she probably could kick my ass. I'm not doubting that, but I'm like, it's like you look at her compared to like Rhea Ripley or like Nia Jax. I'm like, that's a big,
Yeah.
that's
A
where I'm
big
taking a
girl.
big jump in believability, I think.
Yeah. Yeah. But
But
I
hey,
like Becky.
the women's division's come a long way since we were younger, and it'll continue to evolve as more and more people get inspired to join it. So
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, I mean, back in the day, it was Sable versus fucking,
Yeah.
like that era was laughable as far as female
When
wrestling.
I was a kid, it was Wendy Richter. Like,
I don't remember her particularly.
she was well, she was the first screw job in WWE, where this is a great story. So I only really know her because there was the cartoon, the Hulk Hogan cartoon that was on when I was a kid.
Yes.
And it had Wendy Richter and I believe Fabulous Moolah in it because I believe they just wanted to shoehorn some female talent in it. But like,
Yeah.
so when Wendy Richter was in WWE, she was a champion for years, and I forget what it was, but she had some dispute with Vince, and she was supposed to wrestle like sort of like a character under a hood. Um, and she didn't, but like they switched out the wrestler at the last minute and they put Moolah in there. And she didn't know it, but Moolah was going over. So she went to the ring thinking she was wrestling one person under a hood and beating them, but in actuality, she was wrestling Moolah under the hood and Moolah was going over. And then I believe that was her last day of WWE.
Yeah. That sucks.
That's
Yeah.
Vince, man.
Yeah.
Always knows how to treat the ladies.
Yeah, I don't. Well, yeah. I'm like hearing that now. I wonder what it was that pissed Vince off. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah. I'm guessing it had something to do with money.
yeah,
Cash or
or
creative
fucking,
is what it comes down to.
yeah, or not wanting to do something else for Vince. You know what I
Yes.
mean?
Yeah. Yeah. That's the other thing. That's the other C.
Now I will always think that anytime any female wrestler gets screwed over, I'm like, she moves it down. You know what I mean? Like,
I know. And I'll tell you the Ashley Mazzaro story about going over to the troops. If you haven't heard that one, I'm not going into the details now, but she had a pretty horrific experience over there that WWE just seems to have swept under the rug. Allegedly, but there's a lot of people backing it up. So yeah, it sucks. But I am glad the company now, though, they seem to be doing their due diligence. Like it seems to be times are changing there. We're getting a lot of new camera angles. Have you noticed that? That like
I have, yeah.
I think
Have
the
you?
production's been great.
Yeah, dude, the WWE's always been great with production. Yeah, I have noticed like, the different. They did one the other day that I thought was real cool. It like panned the ring around. I thought that
Yep.
was like a pretty cool like angle. But have you noticed? And it drives me crazy that every time they go to commercial during a fight, it's always they zoom in real close on one of the wrestlers on the ground, and they're like, "Can you come back?" And it
Yeah, and
drives
the
me
vocal
fucking
of their voice
crazy.
changes, the tone of their voice changes. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah. He's like, "Can the Rock survive?" And like, it drives me crazy just to go over the top of camera angle. So I had to say that real quick.
well,
But
that's
yeah.
one thing too that about the Netflix thing that's going to be weird is that so I think there's going to be some tiers of that where you won't get commercials, and what you won't get, what instead you'll get is literally them kind of standing in the ring waiting for the commercial to end, or literally just holding in like a chin lock or something. It's like
Yeah, yeah,
at
yeah,
WWE like is a lot more like going to a TV taping than it is a sporting event.
yeah. Or they're gonna start doing ads everywhere, like they did the Jake Paul,
Yeah.
what's his straight prime
Yeah,
one.
that was brilliant to have him do it because it's like have the heel
Yeah,
do
yeah,
it, and then it's like he gets heel heat if people don't like it. That's
yeah,
brilliant.
exactly. Yeah, and then having his boy get knocked out on it, and shit was great. But
Yeah,
when they joined with UFC, that was like the first thing I thought of. I was like, oh, the ring's gonna have fucking ads everywhere,
yeah,
just like the Octagon does. And then they announced the first one. I'm like, all right, that's the start right there. And
yep.
I think going into like no commercials, which I didn't really think about that on Netflix. They're not going to have commercial breaks.
Yeah, I don't
I
know
bet
how it's all gonna work.
I bet you'll see that. I bet you'll see the fucking turnbuckles have monster logos and fucking shit like that. I bet it'll be a very casual progression that
Right,
you'll hear the announcers be like, "This match brought to you by Old Spice.
right.
This brought to you by whatever, fucking GoDaddy.com." You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Fucking yeah, I bet you, the product placement will be there.
Hmm.
They're not gonna lose out on that. You know what I
It
mean?
is also too it makes me wonder about what the future of like the premium live events are. So are they gonna continue the same model now where for the price of Netflix you get WrestleMania or stuff like that? Like I feel like they're gonna with the product this hot, they're gonna probably feel like they might be able to get a little more money out of people for those.
Yeah, and like, what's that gonna do with the Peacock? Like,
Right.
shit. Because like I said, dude, I love all the
Me
documentaries. Dude, I
too.
pretty much every fucking wrestling event that has ever happened
Yeah,
on
it's
fucking
wild.
Peacock. You watch all the pay-per-views for free
Yeah, I
live.
watched most of the Royal Rumbles before the Royal Rumble this year. At least had them on in the background. Like, I hadn't seen a lot of that stuff before.
Yeah, yeah, dude. Like I said, I was telling my wife about a fucking random ladder match from 2003, and I was like,
Yeah.
we can watch this right now. Like, obviously with YouTube and shit, you can get pretty much everything also, but
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
yeah,
But
it
yeah,
looks sick.
I hope all that stuff now we're living in the day where days where content kind of disappears for whatever tax reason or whatever. I hope that stuff kind of lives on and
Yeah.
that deal. And the thing is too, that is a weird thing about WWE now is now it would always been a family company. So now somebody else owns the archives. It's like hopefully they will, and it seems like now they're cherishing the past a little more. They're calling back things in the past. They're bringing continuity. But I'm just hopeful that the company wants to keep remembering the past because unfortunately now with Vince, he's tied to so much of it. Like I feel like he's going to get the Chris Benoit syndrome to some degree where they're not going to want to show him very much, especially if it's not a McMahon owning the company.
Yeah, so that's what they were saying they're gonna do as far as like old footage. They're gonna like blur his face and shit like that. But dude, you can't cut out a guy whose voice literally called every match for 30
Right.
years and was part of the biggest storyline wrestling ever had
Yeah.
was him versus Stone Cold. You can't
Right.
just eliminate all of that. And every other thing that he injected himself into, like how many promos he was in, how many dude, he was the company, he was the face. He changed. Listen, for all the man's flaws, which we are
Yeah.
learning he had a fucking lot of, the man literally changed an entire sport. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, you can say whatever you want. You know, listen, he ain't a fucking hero, clearly, but
Yeah.
he literally revolutionized an entire sport. So to just completely cut him out of that is insane to me. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know how you do that. You know what I mean? But
Yeah.
not
There's
my
no
thing.
happy medium when it comes to stuff like that because there is a certain I don't know how we as a society are going to progress in terms of like everybody is such a deeply flawed person, some of us way less than others,
Yeah, yeah,
but we
yeah.
still are just like we just are so fucking judgmental. And we should be judgmental of him, but like there's no middle ground. There's no one comes back.
No. No, yeah, it's so true. Like everybody, he without sin cast the first stone type shit. People are
Yeah.
so quick to fucking talk shit about someone when they're doing the exact same thing. Or no, not necessarily the exact same thing, but they got their own fucking
Oh
skeletons in
yeah.
their closet. You know what I mean?
Yeah. You wouldn't believe the shit that I don't tell people that I do. It's fucking horrendous. Man, hope that never comes to light.
Yeah, right.
Moving on. the I am excited about what was the other match? AJ Styles versus LA Knight. Like, if you look back to a lot of WrestleManias, it's like you were treated to such garbage on the undercard, where it was like Val Venus and like Hardcore Holly and like a
Right.
fucking,
Those are
and
two
like an
great
Al
wrestlers.
Snow's head on a what?
Those are all great wrestlers. You know, Val Venus was originally supposed to be Edge.
Oh man.
Edge was originally
Weren't
supposed.
they wasn't Val Venus married to wasn't Edge married to Val Venus' sister or something?
Oh, I never heard that. I don't
I
know about
think they
that.
had
But
some relation like that back in the day.
so the gimmick of Val Venus was originally given to Edge.
Sexton
And
Hardcastle?
what is
That
it?
that was Edge's name on the Indies before he
Oh,
went to
really?
WWE. It was
Oh,
Sexton
that is.
Hardcastle, so that would certainly all match up.
Yeah, that's what I heard once. Is that the gimmick of Val Venus the porn star was originally given to Edge, and for
Yeah.
whatever reason they scrapped that and partnered him up with Christian, who's his childhood friend,
I'm kind of
and
surprised they didn't do that.
the rest is history there. But
Yeah.
don't ever disrespect Al Snow. First off.
Did you watch the Netflix documentary series that Al was on?
No, I saw. What is it called? It's called Wrestler or something like that,
Yeah,
right?
I watched the first episode and it was good, then I kind of forgot about it.
Yeah, I watched like I put it on and I kind of had it in the background, and then like because I saw that Al Snow was in it, and I loved Al Snow. I thought he was fucking great.
Yeah.
And I didn't really pay attention. I kind of had it on. I was sticking around on my phone and fucking doing whatever, and I turned it off because I was like, all right, I want to actually like, sit down and
Yeah.
give this a nice watch. And
Did
then
you
I kind
watch the Teddy Hart one on Peacock?
no,
Do you know who Teddy Hart is?
he's the fan, right?
No,
Or,
he's a legit Hart, but he's a fucking lunatic. And he was amazingly talented, but he was just like he got into a fist fight with Punk and at TNA, which I think might have been Punk's fault, but like and he just would go into business for himself all the time. And like but he's like now like kind of on the lam a little bit because he's done so much illegal shit. But he has this documentary about like like he has a girlfriend that's missing, and he's also like breeding like 20 cats, and he's smoking weed constantly. It's on Peacock. I can't even. You'll hate the fucking guy during it, but I would recommend you watch
yeah,
it. Yeah, because he's a
yeah.
legit like all the other Hearts are like this guy's a fucking idiot. Like
Like
Bret
he's
Hart like fucking hates this guy, I think.
how is he related to Brett? He's not his brother, right?
No, I mean I forget. He's like maybe nephew. He might be Bret's nephew or something. Like,
Oh, shit.
but like, yeah, it's. I mean, this is more of a true crime documentary than it is a wrestling documentary. But it's so based in wrestling and
Oh,
like
shit.
there's so many crazy Teddy Hart stories out there too. So I forget what it's called, but I highly recommend it. It's
Yeah,
fucking
I'll check it
insane.
out.
Fucking
Again, I'm a
A&E.
sucker for a good documentary, so I'll
Yeah,
watch it.
yeah. And that is wrestling. Wrestling gives you this it is crazy because people love talking about how it's fake. And like so I was watching the little moments that are real are what's wonderful because I was watching the thing about the Flair and Shawn Michaels last match where right before Shawn super kicked Flair, he goes, "Sorry, I love you." That was
Yeah,
all in
yeah.
the moment. That was all real in the moment. It wasn't planned. Like it's one of the things people remember the most. It's like,
Yeah. Oh, dude, that meme during COVID was amazing. Like, you remember? It was
what
like when
was
he ran
that?
against COVID, and he's like, "Sorry, I love you." Boots him in the face. Yeah.
That's so
That's
true.
like, dude, I'm a sucker for watching it, and I'm like, ooh, like he actually hit him there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like every once in a while, you watch it, and you're like, ooh, that kick
Then
fucking
again,
hit
Sean's one
him.
of the best. Sean could probably lay it in, and like,
Yeah.
yeah, my God. Um, but yeah, it is good. This is one of the first years too with Mania where they're bringing back some old people, but they're not. The Rock's obviously in a very prominent spot, but the Rock's not going to be the one standing tall at the end of this weekend. You know,
No.
it's going to be Cody Rhodes at that press conference. What if you imagine if Cody Rhodes won the belt and then Damian Priest came right out and cashed it?
And beats him for it, that would be amazing. That would be
Yeah.
the greatest booking they could possibly do. Just to give the crowd the most emotional roller coaster possible. You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
Have it literally take the belt away from Cody's mother.
Yeah, dude, just like they did to fucking Dusty back in the day, where they
Yeah.
get the one shot of him holding the belt, and then they take. Oh, dude, that would be amazing if they did
Yeah.
that. That would be the greatest booking ever. Because then
They
you
did
got
it
to
to
give.
Dreamer too, actually, I think. I think Dreamer finally won the ECW belt. I think it either beat Raven or Raven came and took it off of him right after.
Yeah, that's fucking awesome. No, dude, I didn't even think of that. That's what they need to do to Cody. They need him to win the belt and
Mhm.
then lose it immediately after, and then win it back like the next night on Raw or something.
Yeah.
That would be the greatest way to do it.
So like what that does raise the question of, with this most likely I would say being Cody Rhodes going over and opening a new chapter. What do you do with him? Because WWE has had its most success in the modern era with heels kind of on top. It's exciting to see the hero go for the victory, but once they have it, then it gets a little less interesting. So any thoughts on what you do with Cody after?
So my theory, which ties into, I think Seth is going to lose the belt,
I think so
and
too.
then Punk's going to come back and take the belt from
Punk,
Drew,
yeah, it's so
and
natural.
then
Yep.
heel Punk versus Cody will be the next feud.
Oh,
You know
that
what I
would
mean?
make sense.
I think that's like one of the big heel you have. Even though I don't know if Punk's really like a heel, I mean, he kind of is. You will be for this. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
But
It's
so the earliest I would guess that Punk could come back and wrestle Drew would probably be SummerSlam, and that might even be early. So what do we do with Cody at SummerSlam as champ? Like,
I don't know. I
that's
mean,
where it's tough. It's like, does Rollins turn on him? I mean, I certainly hope
Gunther.
not.
If Gunther drops the belt, or
Yeah,
even if he doesn't, I think Gunther deserves a shot at it, or at least like a main event run. You know what I
Gunther
mean? Like,
versus Cody is a very interesting match.
yeah, I think he could. I think that'd be a fucking solid. They could turn a solid 2 month storyline out of that. You know what I
I
mean? Have
think
a
so
solid
too.
main event match out of that.
Yeah, and I think too, once Gunther loses the first time, it won't be as big of a deal if he loses again.
Yeah.
And I think and that is the question of I have to admit I'm not a Sami Zayn fan. He has X-Pac heat with me and he kind of always has. And every he's on the screen, I'm like, oh, this guy again. I don't know what he is. I just don't like him. And
Is
I
it
don't
because
buy
he has
him.
the most dad bod in professional wrestling?
He just
Dude,
doesn't
that dude
seem
does not look like a fucking professional wrestler in any way, shape, or form. That
I
dude
wouldn't want to
looks
sit next to him on a fucking plane. I don't know what it is about him. Like,
that dude looks like every guy I work with who fucking drinks a lot. You know what I mean?
yeah. I'm not a fan of his, but like I think what I just thought of this before. I think what they're gonna do is they're gonna build up that Sammy's gonna have it won, and then what's his name there is gonna turn on him. Chad Gable. they're really building that guy up. That dude that Zayn beat to get in the IC title belt, and now he's going to sort of help him along the way. I think they're
Oh
going
yeah,
to have
yeah,
him
the kind
turn
of
on.
short Jack guy. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
I think he's
No,
going to go heel and turn on Sami Zayn in that.
yeah,
We'll
yeah,
see.
yeah.
I don't know, but yeah, they gotta get the belt off Gunther. I thought Braun Breaker was a perfect person to take the belt off Gunther. I don't know, like, because that's the thing too is they're gonna be wrapping up a lot of long-term storylines now. So it really makes so that means they really have to be start building some new ones. And I think, Braun. You mentioned the Braun Breaker Goldberg type thing. That seems like it's gonna be a long-term storyline. Ascending Gunther to the upper card that seems to be on the plate next. I think there's also they have to figure out what to do with the Judgment Day because Damian Priest has been sort of bubbling underneath. If Rhea Ripley, if she goes total face, does she bring the Judgment Day with him? Does the Judgment Day not mean as much without her?
Yeah,
Like,
you can't do a face, which they kind of now that you mentioned, they kind of have been doing a little like what's his name? Finn Balor, who I'm a fan of, short Irish guy,
love
love
him
him.
too. Yeah, yeah,
I just watched like a 30-minute documentary on him, which was amazing.
yeah.
That's
Prince
beside the point.
Devitt, man,
I
he's
did
got.
notice,
It's like he did so much stuff before he even got to WWE that I
dude,
forgot about.
like wrestled in fucking New Japan for like 8 years.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
the
Like,
Bullet
dude,
Club.
yeah, he's a beast. But now that you mention it, I didn't really think of it. Like Rhea's definitely turning more face, and even like they had him the other day, like smiling and fucking laughing, like a bucket hat on and shit. Like,
Yeah. Oh yeah,
uh,
yeah,
it just seemed very out of character of what they have been that I've noticed a lot. Because again, I'm still kind of learning back into this shit, so the maybe I don't think they can do that though. Even like the name itself, you can't make that a fucking.
yeah.
I do
That's
think she'll.
funny.
I
You
do think
probably
she'll
weren't.
leave it though.
Yeah, you probably weren't watching back then when Judgment Day started. It
It was
was
Edge.
Edge's faction, yeah,
Yeah,
and
and
then
that
they
was
just booted
badass.
him the fuck out.
Yeah, and then he completely left.
Right,
Yeah,
and
just
I was
like
like, this thing's DOA.
because I remember Edge came back at the Royal Rumble, and then like, shortly
Yeah,
after that, I don't know the exact timeline. Again, like I said, I would tune in periodically from time to time, and I do remember them forming that. I remember the promos, like the early like evil Edge promos that
yeah,
reminded me of like
the Brood.
yeah, was that was called the Brood with him and
Yeah, the
Jamie?
Brood with Gangrel and the bloodbaths. Yeah,
Yeah, like it kind of reminded me of that. They were kind of like cultish, you know what I mean? Like, yeah, and then they kicked him out, and that
yeah,
was the
that
end
was
of that.
it. That was like,
Yeah,
yeah.
but that ended up working out very well for them. You know what I mean? So
Yeah, yeah. It's weird because it's like so Damien's gonna have to cash that briefcase in sometime soon, I think. It's so I mean maybe it is gonna be him and Cody next. I mean that might be a logical thing is to send them to the next level.
I mean, they
Um
could if they lose the tag titles, it would make sense.
yeah.
Have them lose the tag titles to I don't know who the fuck else is in that little
Well,
tournament thing.
that's so that's the interesting thing is, and I'm sorry to interrupt you for the zillionth time,
Awesome.
but like so they have all these multi-man matches, and it's like they always go, "Oh, the champion's at a huge disadvantage," and the champion always fucking wins because WWE thinks it's cheap to have a champion lose. Do you think like in a match like that, it's like, oh, it ruins a title reign, but it's like then don't have the match, but we want to have the match. So like for me,
Yeah.
it's like I totally think it's the right time to switch the titles, but it would sort of feel like Judgment Day was getting screwed over by having it happen, and they're heels, and it doesn't make any sense. What do you think
Yeah.
they'll do?
Yeah, I don't know what they'll do with that with the titles, but I have noticed that since I started rewatching wrestling again, belts don't fucking change. Gunther's had the
Right,
belt for fucking 2 years. Roman Reigns has had the belt since fucking for fucking 10 fucking years.
right.
Obviously, Usos lost theirs, but they had it for fucking a year. Like it really seems like if you're the champ, you're the fucking champ forever, with the exception of the belt Logan Paul has that I've seen change hands like 4 times since I started like
Right.
watching off and on. You know what I mean? It really seems like if you're the champ, you're the fucking champ forever now. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah. Because it's like back in the day, we'd be like, oh, we're gonna have a three-way match. It's gonna be Triple H as the champ versus Rock and Angle, and Angle's gonna win by pinning Rock, and he'll be the champ. And
Yeah,
you're like,
yeah.
what
Like
did we
back,
prove
back,
here?
yeah,
Like,
like back in the day, like belts changed hands on Raw regularly. You know what I mean?
yeah.
Like Mick Foley won the belt on Raw. Fucking so many people won their belts on Raw. You're like, I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. Again, I'm not the
No,
most.
they did. They changed titles all the time back then.
Yeah,
There was so
and
much that was meaningless. Because it's like you think back at like the history. It's like Jack Swagger was WWE champion. Is he anywhere near on the same level as Roman Reigns? Like,
yeah, I don't even know who that guy is. I know he's in AEW now.
yeah,
I know. I don't. I couldn't pick him
he's
out of a
Jake
lineup.
Hager in AEW.
But yeah,
Yeah,
you're right. It did. Yeah, I mean, I guess that's the gift of the curse of that. Like, I guess that's why they don't do any books. Became this like people like Kane had the belt for 24 hours. I think Mick Foley's first reign was like 48 hours. You know what I mean? Like,
Christians was like that too.
I didn't even know Christian had a belt. Had the
Yeah,
fucking
and Dolph Ziggler. Dolph Ziggler had the belt for like a cup of coffee.
yeah, yeah,
That was like basically it, you know?
yeah. So I guess they're trying to. I guess because they're trying to do the 180 every once in a while and completely like, change everything. So I guess that's the way of doing that. Like, all right, like you got to make the title reigns mean something so they hold on to it forever. I don't know.
Yeah, but I think we're gonna see. I think we're gonna see Seth lose. I think we're gonna see Roman lose. So I think we're gonna have a new era of Drew and Cody as the champs.
Yeah, 100%. I don't think Drew will hold on to it long. I think because
I think he's gonna lose to Punk.
he's still constantly dissing Punk in every promo he does. That's clearly
and Punk will be back on Monday too. I mean, he'll be back not wrestling, but back talking.
Yeah. But he's clearly going to talk shit about Drew. Like that's clearly the setup. And I think that was always Punk's fighting for that belt. I think was always the story. You know, I think Drew's got put in the fucking mix because of
Punk exactly. Yeah. And I'm a CM Punk is probably my favorite. He's one of my top favorite wrestlers of all time. Anyway, so it sucks that he can't seem to stay healthy. It's bitch, and I'm hopefully.
I mean, he's a little bit older, isn't he? I don't know.
He's about my age, and he took all those years off. And I think that you think that would work to your advantage, but I think in wrestling it doesn't. Your body gets used to not doing all that shit.
Yeah, right. Your body gets used to not getting beat on. You know what I mean? Like,
shit. It's insane. So that's something I'm wondering. As I remember an ex of mine, Petra, from years ago, she was like, "You're such a big wrestling fan. Did you ever think about going into it?" And I was like, "No fucking way." And it's like everything else, it's like, "Oh, I like rap, I'm gonna rap. Oh, I like art, I'm gonna draw." With wrestling, it's like, no.
Dude, I wanted to be a wrestler my entire life.
Really?
Like, dude, from the time I was like 3 years old, man, I wanted to be. Dude, for some reason, I thought I was gonna be fucking Hulk Hogan size. I don't know why. My dad's my height. You know what I mean? Fucking reason. And like, dude, literally like all through like middle school and shit, that's all I ever wanted to do was a wrestler. And then I quickly was like, yeah, I'm not built for that. And it's funny, so right before COVID, I was in conversations with my buddy Sean Smoke, who
I had him on here. We're gonna be talking next week.
Fucking great kid, fucking love him.
Yeah, he's on our WrestleMania. You should come on for one of those. But we've been doing before the Big Four pay-per-views. Me, him, and this other dude, Jay Sinatra, from one of my rap dudes from Florida, go on and do previews for the shows.
Nice, fuck yeah. So Sean was doing all the videos and editing and stuff for called New England All-Star Wrestling, and that's where Tommy Dreamer wrestled at. That was just So he had introduced me to them, and I pitched a storyline to them about I wanted to be a heel manager. I pitched the whole story. I went and met him. I helped set up the ring for an event and stuff.
If you can't be tall, you can make someone else look tall.
Dude, so he had shown them my battle rap shit, and they're like, "Yo, he's kicking talk shit," like blah 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 blah. So I pitched the whole storyline of me coming out and just ripping on the crowd and fucking talking shit, fucking being a dick. I was gonna do like a bunch of like wrestler references, be like, "Oh, you guys are the biggest losers since the Job Squad," and kind of use like my battle rap wrestling like references as like insults to the crowd. And then I pitched the whole thing to him. Then a fucking babyface come out, fucking knock me out. Have a heel come out and defend me, thus setting up a feud between them and setting me up to be the heel manager. And the guy was all for it. And, literally this was February of 2020.
Oh, fuck.
So he was like, yeah, like we got this event tomorrow. I went to the event. We talked there again. He's like, dude, yeah, like we'll be in touch. He's like, the next event probably won't be till April.
Oh man, you gotta get back on that.
He was telling me how they were in negotiations with Nesson at the time to get.
Oh yeah, nice.
So he was like, dude, if that happens, we're gonna be needing weekly content.
Awesome.
Like, so it was basically a done deal. If you notice, I don't know if you get Nesson. If you watch it, Nesson has a wrestling show now.
Yeah, I was about to say Nesson does have a long history of having independent New England wrestling on their station.
I forget it's a newer show now. I don't remember the name of the promotion, but they ended up getting the spot. Whatever that promotion is, I can't think of the name of it. So they got the show that was supposed to be New England All-Star Wrestling was the name of it.
Yeah.
So I started training a few years ago. I started exercising. I started training jiu-jitsu and all that shit, and I'm loving that. That's another conversation we could have. But part of me was like, what if there's a wrestling school nearby? I'm almost fucking 40, but if I wish. It's still in the back of my head. I have one goal of doing one professional wrestling match. I know I'm never going to do it, but
I'd always love to be an announcer. I mean, that to me is where I can only really see myself fitting in. Like, But yeah, I don't want to get hit by any. It's like the problem is I don't want anybody to be trusting me with their safety that way.
Well, dude,
Like
that too. Yeah, like that, dude. It's a very, you really have to trust the person.
I
Like, look
drop
at,
my remote control or mouse on average 7 times a day, and that's not even a lie. Like don't
yeah,
trust me with your spine.
yeah, right, dude. Like, there's so many, dude. Look at Rey Mysterio almost fucking getting paralyzed, and
Yeah,
Jake
and
Paul.
then,
I wouldn't be able to catch him like that if
I
if
know.
I was in Jake Paul's position. We'd have both gone down. You
I
know what I
know.
mean?
It's
But yeah,
wild. It is
but
pretty
yeah, but
wild though how strong some of these fucking dudes are. Because the Finn Balor, his move where he does the coup de grace and he jumps on their chest, I literally I get uncomfortable knowing that's coming. So I'm like, how is that not murdering you? Like I know they
yeah,
must just tense up their chest or something, but
dude. So I really was looking at that too, and it's just about like again, I don't know exactly, but the way he does it, he like as he comes down, he instantly like, rolls forward.
yeah, I
So I mean,
just
it's still the way he's like compact. Like if you just like penciled down on someone, that would fucking.
fucking
And
murder them.
again, he's not the biggest guy either.
Right.
I mean,
Maybe I'm being a mark and it's totally safe, but like I watched that and I'm like, oh, it's like that in the curb stomp. I'm like, are we really pretending that's not gonna murder somebody? I mean, we all saw American History X, like, and it's like that. I can't believe they let the curb stomp actually happen.
yeah. I mean, dude, so many of those moves hurt. Like, yeah, they don't. You know what I mean? They're not a punch. Dude, the dump their chops.
Right. Those legit hurt. Like those are
Dude,
like,
you can't fake that. Like
yeah,
people always like, oh, like, dude, it's a fucking 200 and something plus man slapping you across the chest. You watch people's chests bleed when they do
yeah.
it. Like,
The guy's the
like
wingspan of a fucking eagle.
these guys aren't hauling off and whacking each other in the face. You know what I mean? Like they're not
Right.
actually each other in the face. Like if you're an MMA fan, you can tell the difference of when someone fucking gets punched in the face.
Oh
And they don't.
yeah, yeah.
But that doesn't say that like those moves fucking hurt. You know what I mean?
Right, right. And it is a case of like with the curb stomp, like they do that safely, so it's only me going, okay, that's just unrealistic. That why should I believe that guy's doesn't literally his brain should be coming out of his ears
Yeah,
right now.
yeah. Like,
But it's
there's
like,
no,
but that doesn't hurt the guy, but it's the chop that is like a transition move that's really being like, what the fuck did he do to me later? You know?
yeah, like Gunther's a dick for making that like a thing he does. You know
I
what I
know.
mean? Like, it's like I'm gonna choose the most realistic, actually painful thing we can do, and I'm gonna do it to you 20 times every match.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah. It's whatever, man. So anything else you're excited about wrestling? We got the Hall of Fame coming up. I think they got some pretty good inductees. We got
uh,
Heyman,
yeah, Paul
US
Heyman
Express, I
obviously
think.
well, more than well deserved. Paul
Yeah.
Heyman, fucking
Muhammad Ali too. He's going
Muhammad
in this
Ali,
year.
which is pretty dope.
Thunderbolt
Obviously
Patterson,
not
also
appear to
great.
fucking get it, but
Yeah.
um,
I wouldn't be surprised. They're dropping the new Bray Wyatt documentary in 4-1. They have his father going in. I wouldn't be surprised if they announced Bray Wyatt going in too.
yeah, I'm excited for that documentary, dude.
Looks
So
great.
when I first got back into watching it, those Firehouse promos were
Yeah.
literally like the first thing I saw that I was like, holy shit, like, what the fuck is this? You know what I mean? I went back and watched like talking about earlier the lost art of the promo. That dude
Yeah.
was a fucking goat. Like as far as storytelling and like character development or whatever. Like, dude, that guy was fucking insane. I've never seen too many of his matches. Again, he came up in an era I didn't watch, but I went
Yeah.
back and watched like all these like creepy promos he did. Dude, he was fucking amazing.
He had I mean, he had a couple of real turkey of matches, and I think it was a lot of that you could probably blame on Vince booking and crap like that. But he was a really good wrestler, and he was very special. And
Isn't he? Sorry, he's IRS's son, right?
yep, yeah,
Yeah, that's what I
yeah.
thought. Yeah.
And IRS is going in as the Hall of Fame this year too, as part of the US Express. Or is that who it is? It's him and Barry Windham, I think. Because Barry
Uh,
Windham, I think, is his uncle. I think was Bray Wyatt's uncle, I think.
yeah, Barry
Maybe
Windham.
that's
Yeah,
what I'm thinking. Maybe I always forget who. I don't know. All these old time dudes, like they all kind of blend together. Where I'm like, oh my god, that was Terry Funk. I watched him all the time as a kid. I didn't realize that. You know, it's like,
yeah. Dude, Terry Funk, talking about a fucking old man. Oh
yeah,
yeah. Um,
R.I.P.
yeah, that's right. Yeah, he died. Dude, that's fucking. I
Yeah,
mean, he was probably past. He probably cheated death more times than most.
yeah. I think every day Terry was walking, he was beating death.
Yeah, there's like a documentary that came out like 2002 where his wife was like, "You need to stop wrestling," and he
I remember
wrestled for like,
seeing that. Yeah,
I think that's like another 10 years. Yeah,
he's like, I just gotta help ECW. Yeah, it's
yeah,
I
yeah.
can't do Terry Funk, but Cool. So, I'm trying to think. I think we pretty much covered most of what's going on WrestleMania weekend. I think, lots of possibilities on what the endings are going to be. I think we're both in agreement. Since we'll wrap this up soon, we're both in agreement on probably going to see Drew take the title off Cody to go into something with Punk whenever Punk is ready. And Cody's going to win on Roman. I think the
Or the
question
crowd.
is, how good of a job do they get us to believe that it's not going to happen during the match? Which I'm sure they'll
Yeah,
do something.
yeah.
Um, Jay versus Jimmy. I mean, I've never been hugely invested in the Usos, even though I think they're excellent talents, but like I wasn't watching for a lot of their big
Rishi's kids,
years.
talk about that.
Yeah,
So
Rikishi's kids,
I was
yeah.
gonna say earlier, and I think that match is the prime example of like I feel like a lot of WrestleMania has just been kind of like because dude, the Rock's promos are 30 minutes out of every fucking hour show.
Yeah,
I feel like that match in particular and a couple of these others have been robbed of like the build up because of it. You know what I mean?
right.
Two brothers facing each other. They're also two bloodline members. So like you get the Rock and Roman and against each other.
And they lost their belts at WrestleMania last year, at their tag belts.
Yeah, yeah. So like I feel like some of these guys are getting robbed of storylines because of The Rock. You know what I mean? But and I
On
feel
the
like
flip
that's
side, though, with WrestleMania, back in the day when WrestleMania was only one night, their match would probably only be 6 minutes long. And I think they'll at least with it being two nights, they'll get some time in the ring at
I
least.
bet you they have a chance to steal the show. They're both
Yeah,
fucking very good wrestlers. I think Jay uh, will come out of this as the star. You know what I mean? I think he main event Jay Uso. You know what I mean? I think he has the star quality more than
and Jimmy.
you
Yeah.
know what I
That's
mean?
actually a question because looking at the card of matches, I think almost any match on the show could steal the show. I think any ideas of what do you think will be the show stealing match of the weekend?
I think the brothers could be off the top of my head. I'm trying to think. So we don't know who is Gunther facing. We don't know that
Sami
yet, right?
Zayn.
Oh, it is Sami Zayn.
Yep.
I don't think that'll steal the show.
I think that'll be a storyline thing to get Chad Gable turning heel. I think.
Yeah. I'm going with the brothers. Off the top of my head, I can't think of what else.
I still think AJ and LA Knight are gonna have something to prove because
I
they're
like
both.
LA Knight a lot. We didn't really get a
Yeah.
chance to talk to him, but I like him a lot. He's a
Yeah.
good character. He's like a fucking, he's a solid wrestler.
They could put the belt on him tomorrow and people would be behind him too.
I actually thought so. We are talking about where Cody goes from there, and I almost said LA Knight, but that doesn't make sense because they're both baby faces. They're not going to do
Yeah.
that. They could put him against
Drew,
Drew.
they could do that. That would be great to hold him over till Punk is back.
Yeah, Punk can't go yet, but I think he deserves a good title run at some point, even if it's the U.S.
Yeah.
title or something. I think he deserves it.
He's an older guy too, so I think it's like if you pull the trigger on him, you got to pull it pretty soon.
Yeah, and they seem pretty invested in him right now, and the crowd fucking loves him.
Yeah. I mean, he's essentially taken over the Slim Jim thing too, so he's going to be
Yes,
him
yeah.
and I think Bianca. I know.
Yeah, him and what's her name?
Is it Bianca?
Bianca, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I'm not really too familiar with AJ Styles. He's kind of one of those guys that he hasn't really wrestled a lot the last couple of months that I've been watching. I know who he is. I'm not really too familiar with him. My buddy Farrell, who was on earlier, shout out to Farrell. He swears by him. He says he's like
he's amazing. There was a time where he was the best wrestler in the world, probably.
Yeah, that's what he said. He does. He always says like we talked about him more than once before. He's like, dude, he's one of like our generation type wrestler. He's an old school. Like he compared him to Chris Jericho a lot.
And he finally now looks the part because he's always been in a kind of a smaller size, but now he really looks like he belongs in WWE.
Yeah, dude, he is fucking.
Him and Randy both. I don't know what they're on, but they're both allegedly they're both fucking jacked.
They both allegedly took some great vitamins. Yeah. I mean, Randy Orton's always been here. We didn't really talk about that. We talked about Logan Paul a little bit. Randy Orton, Logan Paul,
and Kevin Steen.
Logan Paul has a chance to steal the show every time he gets in the ring.
That one's interesting to me. The only thing with it being a three-way with Kevin Steen, I feel like we're gonna get we'll get a few very well planned out stunts, but I think it's gonna be kind of play by numbers, and I think Logan's gonna go over.
So I think I think that's setting up for Kevin and Randy to beef. You know what I mean?
I think that would make sense.
Whether or not one of them has the belt or not, I feel like that's setting up.
Yeah.
Because they're all buddy, and then they announce it. You can see them both kind of look at each other like classic storytelling. You know
and
what
Randy's
I mean?
almost punched him a few times by mistake recently.
Yeah. Like that. Like one of them is going to cost the other one the match, whether or not it's against each other or what. You know what I mean?
Yeah. But I think it's too late to turn Randy Orton heel at this point. I don't know that I mean, maybe they could because it's Randy, and deep down he's always a dick. But I think he may be in that role now where no one's gonna want to boo him.
Yeah,
Um,
he's got the veteran status.
yeah, I think he may be like
Well,
Triple H almost towards the end, where Triple H, no one wanted to buy him as a heel anymore because they knew the time his time was coming. People just wanted to enjoy him while he was there, you know.
yeah,
So
yeah.
cool, man. I think we pretty much talked the shit out of this, but
I know, I'm very
I'll
excited. Again, I don't have a chance to talk wrestling too much, so it's
yeah,
actually
yeah. I was really hoping that you, because I didn't know that you've been watching until right before. I was thinking, oh damn it, God, I hope he's been
yeah.
watching wrestling because that's
I
like
know.
sort of
Well,
the
it's funny.
theme.
Yeah, because you hit like I do. I again appreciate you hitting me up. I always enjoy talking to you in general,
Yeah.
even when it's not being recorded. But it's funny. So you hit me up, and I was like hesitant at first. I was like, dude, like I'm not really battling right now. Like I'm working on music kind of periodically. Got this fucking EP I've been working on since COVID. Started off as a full album. I cut it down and cutting it
It's gonna
down
be a
and cutting it
single
down.
pretty soon.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Dude, I got like 4 songs I really like.
Yeah.
Should have put those out. So I was like, "Ooh, like I don't know what we're gonna talk about." And I'm glad, like, the first thing you did, you've been watching wrestling. I was like,
Yeah.
"Yes!"
I'm
But yeah,
in, man. And I'm in on the video. I'm honestly, I haven't played the video game in like 2 or 3 days. I've been editing a video, but tonight I'm like, oh, it's 8:30. This is perfect timing for me not to start something else and just to keep fucking plugging away,
yeah,
trying to unlock some fucking characters.
yeah. That's fucking
This is what
awesome.
my life is. This is what happens when you don't have kids. Like
Mark, tell me
I
about
had
it.
I got the chance to have lunch with Esoteric last week, and we were there talking about I should mention this too. This project Planet Orson I've been working on. It's this guy Jared Eagle. He this has been his lifelong project. He's making this he did a Kickstarter. He raised 40 grand, and it was to
Damn.
make a graphic novel and eventually a film that tells the story of Orson Welles through the lens of the Transformers, because the last Orson Welles movie he was ever in was voicing a voice of Unicron in the Transformers cartoon in the 80s. And he did that. There's a whole story behind why he did it. So Jared is very inspired by all this. He was a big Transformers kid. And so he raised all this money. He's making this graphic novel, and we're trying to get it made into a film. And so Esoteric, if you remember the song Be Alert from the 90s, his first big
Yep.
song in the Transformers sample. So Jared was a big
Yep.
fan of that. He had reached out to ESO months ago, and they made an exclusive. Actually, I have it right here. They made I got Hero album, which I haven't listened to yet, but shout outs to Piro. Um, and then Planet Orson, which this is the LP. It's got it's only 32 copies of this, and it's got a couple of esoteric songs on it that had not been heard elsewhere, and then a bunch of other beats on it that's all made by ESO.
Nice.
Um, and so they're trying to make this into the back cover is pretty cool.
Yeah,
Um,
it's kind of like a glare, but yeah.
oh yeah, you know what? I'll take it out of this thing.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah,
So that's better. Yeah, sick.
but it's
Did you use
beautiful.
the art for it? I'm
No,
assuming.
I didn't. He got
Oh no.
someone actually professional. I kept saying to him, like, if you need any art for anything, he's like, yeah, I'll let you know. But like,
Yeah.
so, Esoteric's involved, and flew up here from Florida and was like, oh, we should see what's up with that. So we gave him, he got this like huge Japanese Transformers toy in Celtic green of Unicron, and it was big. We gave it to him down there. So we were down there just talking to Esoteric about this, about just the project and some ideas that we have for what's coming next, and can't really give away too much, but it's funny while we were there. This is why I was thinking of this is Jared was blown away by like my room here and all the crazy shit I have, and he was like
I
showing
know,
Esso
especially looking
pictures.
at the fucking Wolverine, all that shit. That's what we were talking earlier.
It's
Fucking
wild.
Spider-Man mask and shit.
Yeah. And Esso he's like, wow, it's pretty nuts. I'm like, yeah, dude, that's what 45 with no kids looks like.
Yeah. I know,
Like,
right?
it's
Dude.
just, I don't know, man. Like,
Yeah,
college is expensive.
what's that?
College is expensive. Like, not having to pay for someone to go to college is
Oh God,
really
yeah.
doing a lot for my record collection.
I know, dude. I fucking do it. I started making good money. I started buying the most like obnoxious things. I've calmed down over the last couple of years, but I started buying just like the most obnoxious shit.
Did
Like,
you go through the thing I went through where you're just like, time to rebuy my childhood to buy the things that I couldn't have in my
yes,
childhood?
dude,
Everything.
100%. Yes, it's
Yeah.
100% what I did. Yeah, dude. Like,
Yep. I
it's the most
have
stupid.
I'm looking at them right now. There's a Honky Tonk Man and a Brutus Barber Beefcake toy that I always wanted as a kid and I never had, and I tracked them both down and got them. It was like they're like $6 each, but I was like, I still needed to have it.
Yeah, you still fucking want. Dude, know what I bought a few years ago? I put it on Instagram back when I bought it. You probably remember the DVD scratch. It was
Oh,
old
I
fucking.
have a framed poster of it right there.
Dude, you remember who was it? DJ, I want to say DJ Shadow. He
Yeah.
had the van that fucking
Yep.
drove around, the record player van. I remember being like 16 watching that and be like, dude, I want one of those so bad. And one day I fucking thought of it for the first time in 25 years and I bought it. I was like, dude, I felt like a kid, like literally opening up a toy. I was so
Yeah.
fucking excited. And I was like, that's one of those moments where I was like, yeah, I'm just an adult, like buying kid shit. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, fucking action figures not so much, but like buying like I went through a point in time buying like every Simpsons related shit I can get my hands on.
Oh, I have I really want the Bret Hart Simpsons figure because I have the Rodney Dangerfield
Oh,
Simpsons figure that I love that one. But like the
yeah, the
Bret
Bret
Hart
Hart.
Simpsons figure is one of the because I don't buy a lot of figures anymore, but that's one of the ones that if I'd love to have that one. So.
Yeah, do you ever hear the story about when that how that so they hired him to do the voice, and if you notice, his voice is like kind of different than that because
Yeah,
he was
I didn't
supposed to just
realize it was actually him until years later because it doesn't sound like him.
yeah. So what it was they hired Bret Hart to play a generic wrestler. It
Oh,
wasn't supposed to be Bret Hart. They were like, hey, we want to play. We're gonna have this wrestler. And I don't know how exactly it ended up with Bret Hart, but they reached out to him. They do it. So when he went and filmed it, he was not supposed to be playing himself. That's why his voice is different. And apparently, in a documentary thing I saw, when he was leaving, kids were lined up out front because he wasn't the champion at the time. So they didn't think he was like the big name. Kids were lined up out front holding signs and everything. And they're like, oh, like we fucked up. Like we gotta promote because the Simpsons back in the day were notorious for having celebrities do
yep.
voices like
That was
fucking
before like there was a really a big deal. People were more like almost ashamed to do it to some degree. They're not
yeah.
like pro wrestlers who do
Well, like
anything.
look at
But
fucking
Michael
Michael
Jackson.
Jackson. Like then
Yep.
he did the voice credit and shit like that. Like so that was kind of like an ongoing joke they would do with having celebrities do stuff and not give them credit.
So
And then they realized how popular Bret Hart was, so they changed it and made it Bret Hart. Just random fucking tidbit of Simpsons wrestling knowledge.
People who don't understand wrestling do not understand how loyal wrestling fans are.
Oh god,
And
yeah, dude.
they also there's a special thing about wrestling about where like yes we know it's fake, yes we know they're actors, yes I know actors in movies are fake and all that stuff, but like because like if I saw Christian Bale in an airport I wouldn't call him Batman, but if I saw CM Punk in an airport I'd call him CM Punk and not Phil Brooks, and out of like respect I guess, but it's like that line of like that it feels more real in a
Yeah.
way even though it's centered around something so fake.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dude, so it's quick funny story. So like I said, I went to Survivor Series this year. Me and my buddy. It was at the Garden. We went to the Harp right across the street. I don't know if you've been to the Garden lately. And we're in there, and there's dude. Everybody in there has got their wrestling shirts on. There's people with belts. There's a dude in a fucking Roddy Piper kilt. You know what I mean? Like everybody's having a good time. It's fucking an hour before the event. We're grabbing a couple beers, and this college age kid comes up to he's standing there, and he looks at me and my buddy. He goes, "Hey, can I ask you a question?" And I'm like, "Yeah, man. Like, what's up?" He goes, "You know the shit's fake, right?" And I'm like, yeah, like, dude, no fucking shit. Like, dude, I was like, dude, we're fucking 35-year-old guys, whatever. Like, I was like, dude, we're just,
You're not shattering our world here.
yeah, I'm like, yeah, like, no fucking shit, it's fake. And I look at, he had like a Game of Thrones shirt on, and I'm like, yo, yeah, it's fake. I'm like, dude, so is Game of Thrones. I'm like, so is everything else you watch on TV. But this kid literally was a gay, and he turns around to his buddy, he goes, these guys are all fucking, like, and I'm like, whoa. I'm like, he's like, no, not you. You're cool. And he's like, the rest of these guys. And I'm like, dude, nah. My buddy, he had a couple beers already. He was ready to fight to get over it. But I'm like, dude, what kind of fucking like?
Can you imagine too the bad luck of picking on a random stranger and having that be one of the best battle rappers? Like he doesn't know how much you could have eviscerated him. You could have been throwing wrestling bars at him like and fucking embarrassed him.
Who the fuck like says that? You're like, yeah, like dude, no fucking shit. I know this is fuck. You know what I mean? Like
that could have been your your Eminem in the lunch line with Exhibit at 8 Mile moment.
But it just goes to show, like, dude, like. Yeah. Like, dude, to me, like, to us, and this was before I was even really following again. Like, let's just do it. It's a fucking night out. It's a fucking show. Like, my wife, like, people say it for years. My wife says it's a fucking soap opera. Like,
well, especially too with reality TV, it's like that shit is really fake. They're
like
each other less.
The fights in wrestling are realer than the fights in reality TV.
Right.
Like, dude,
I know.
television is fake. Like, dude, at the end of the day, like, yeah, like, and I get why people don't like wrestling. Like.
Yeah, there's tons of reasons not to like it.
Yeah, dude, it's fucking weird. It's awkward as fuck. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But like I was telling that guy, like, dude, like we loved this shit when we were kids. We're just trying to get a night out away from our wives and fucking drink beers and have fun. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I
What
couldn't
was
believe
that
it.
dude doing that night? Like, too, like it's like I don't know. There is something though about like, being like in your 20s where you just like, especially like college kids like that, they just really think they know everything. And I was probably the
Of
same.
course, dude. If you had a conversation with a 20-something-year-old these days, they think they fucking invented everything. They fucking no one is more of a know-it-all than a fucking first year fucking college kid. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like think
I
of the
remember being
world.
one of them.
Just fucking ask them. They'll tell you. You know what I
I
mean?
know.
Like,
They're so
yeah.
politically insightful too. They've seen it
Oh
all
yeah.
and done it
Dude,
all.
fucking. I saw this Vice documentary and
Yeah.
fucking
Like,
like,
oh, should I sit down before you tell me this? I feel like my
yeah.
knees are gonna fucking buckle, you nitwit.
But yeah, like and like the level of like these are a bunch of grown ass men. He's like, yeah, these guys are all fucking clowns. And I'm like, dude, like there's fucking 60 of us. I'm
I
like,
did, yeah. It's
I'm like,
like
who will beat the ever living shit out of you? You know what I mean?
I
Like,
know. It's weird,
no,
especially like in Boston too. Like it's I don't know. People, how many fights have you seen just out in Boston over the years? I've seen so many.
dude, it's. I once saw someone say like Boston's one of the last cities that like a fist fight is still like a real thing. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, and like, dude, like kids these days, like that kid has probably been in 2 street fights in his life. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
the 30-year-old at the bar was in 2 street fights on the way to the bar. You know what
I
I mean?
know.
Like kids these
Well,
days don't fight, and I'm not saying that's a bad thing. You know what I mean? Like I know a lot of kids who are 20, 22, 23 that have never been in a fist fight. When
yeah.
we were
I've
in
never
first
been, I don't think I've ever been in a fist fight. I mean, not since maybe like junior high.
dude, when I was that age, like, dude, a fist fight was like a fucking Saturday night. Like that was fucking part of the event. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, yeah, dude, you walk around Boston. That's why I don't go into Boston anymore and don't go to places because
Yeah. It's
I
not
don't need to
worth
get
it.
my fucking face kicked in by some fucking 21-year-old fucking roided out fucking kid. You know what I mean? But
I know.
yeah,
It
dude,
is
it's so
fucking wild.
common. Around here, it was back when we were younger, dude. A fist fight was the most common thing anywhere. You know what I mean? Like anywhere you went, every bar you went to on a Friday night, there was gonna be a fist fight. You
Yeah,
know what I
I've
mean? That was
broken up a lot of fights in my day, but I'm just so non-confrontational. I can't imagine what would get me riled up enough to like. I'm just like,
dude. And it's
no.
always the stupidest shit, dude. So,
Yeah.
dude, I won't break up fist fights anymore. I used to do that when I was younger, and I saw a man get stabbed to death trying to break up a
Yeah,
fist.
that's the thing too. I don't think I would as
I was
much
like,
now.
yep. I was like, you know what I'm never doing ever again is breaking up a fucking
Yeah.
fist fight. You know what I mean? Like, because it's never the dude who deserves it. It's always the fucking innocent guy who
Yeah.
the
It
hell.
is funny too about Southie. When Jared was up here, I was like telling him about Southie. I'm like, Southie's a weird neighborhood where I've had so many friends there, male and female, like live there in their 20s and 30s and just have be like a normal existence. But then a couple times a year, like, yeah, someone got stabbed around the corner.
Yeah, yeah, fucking.
There's so many casual stabbings in Southie where it's just like
It's so true.
people aren't even that freaked out by it. It's like there's a weird feeling that if something happens in Southie, the person deserved it. I think is what it is. Which
I
I'm
feel like
not
that's
saying I believe that way,
now
but that's what it feels like when you were there, that people feel
that
that
we
way.
don't question it.
Yeah,
Dude,
they're
like
like,
people
well, you
like
get stabbed in Southie. That happens when you deserve it.
yeah, like that in Providence. That people always just get stabbed in Providence for no fucking reason. Well, because
Yeah,
Massachusetts, like, we don't have like the most like gun violence. Like you look at some of these other cities,
right.
we have very strict gun laws, and because of it, they say whether you're whatever side of gun control you're on. You know what I mean? You
Yeah,
can't. Massachusetts does not have a large
right,
gun violence stats. It's a
right. Not
fact.
comparative. Yeah.
But no one ever talks about the high rate of stabbings we
No
have.
shit.
Like, dude, fucking people get stabbed every fucking Saturday night in fucking
And as
downtown.
they say, like the loser in a in a knife fight dies on the pavement, and the winner dies in the ambulance. Like,
Yeah. Dude, that is so true. Like, dude,
yeah, people sleep on how fucking dangerous a knife is.
dude, and that's fucking up close and personal, too. It's a fucking, I've never stabbed anybody.
Yeah. Oh,
But
you gotta try it, dude. Like I said, never been in a fist fight.
you
I
have
am.
lived. You fucking stabbed someone.
Dude, man, this
But
Swiss
like,
Army knife right here, man.
dude, I say I carry a knife. Listen, I carry a knife. I carry a gun. I'm not being a victim of anything. I do jujitsu. I'm not being a victim. You know
Oh,
what I mean?
I carry like mace, and I carry like a pocket knife because it's like, and the thing is, like, I've thought about getting a gun. I also have, not that I'm not a huge gun person, but like, I have a medical marijuana card, and I kind of feel like you can't really do both.
You can't. Dude, dude, that's so fucking stupid to me. Is you can legally So I don't have I have my license to carry. I'm a legal gun owner. I'm not like one of these fucking gun nuts,
Yeah.
but I do enjoy going to
I
the
grew up
range.
around guns, so I'm not like, as much as I don't like these fucking people murdering all these things, I'm not like terribly anti-gun. I am anti-idiots having guns, but
Yeah. I'm full anti-idiots having guns.
yeah,
I'm fully that. You know what I mean?
yeah,
My phone's gonna die. I'm gonna fucking grab a card real quick.
yeah.
But I don't remember the exact point I was gonna say that. I got distracted.
Oh,
But
about just like protecting ourselves.
yeah, I think I had a point to go with that, but now I forget it.
Yeah.
But
Okay.
yeah. Oh, we're talking about fucking people getting stabbed. Like the amount of people I know
Yeah.
who have been stabbed or fucking seen people get stabbed in fucking Boston is an insane stat that no one ever fucking talks
It
about.
is. It is nuts. It's like that is what's funny too, is like you do hear this talk about oh, last week so and so was murdered in this city and nobody heard about it. But I'm like, dude, there's people getting murdered so fucking often now. Like I was on like I think either CNN or The Guardian the other day. They had like 5 stories in a row from the weekend of just random states where it was like multiple people were killed. I'm
Yeah.
like this used to be an event. Like now it's like the Marvel movies. It's like they're just out all the time.
Yeah, dude, it's fucking insane. It really is. People are fucking crazy to begin with, but
I am picking up on that. Yeah. So.
yeah.
All right. Well, I probably should let you go, and I had to get back to playing some video games that
The
evening. But
conversation took a real left turn at the end. I really enjoyed it.
no, I know, man. It's all good though. It
Yeah,
is, and this is why we like wrestling, is to distract us from the fucking real world.
I
Like,
know.
and it's the thing with wrestling is like you don't see a lot of guns there, you don't see a lot of knives. It's like except for Tank Abbott trying to stab somebody, and
It fucking knew Jack back in the day, but
that was funny. You mentioned Sean. He was at the mass transit incident.
yeah, that's right. Dude, me and him talked about that recently.
Yeah, he talked
Yeah.
about that on my podcast. It's fucking wild. So, all right, man. Well, it's been a pleasure, and hopefully all these
Absolute
things you
pleasure. Always
predicted.
good to talk to you.
All right, man. I'll
Talk to you.
talk to you.